And without further ado, spawning here at the top right, we got our red Protoss playing for Root Gaming. Give it up for Creature. And down here at the bottom, we got our blue Zerg playing for Apprentice Esports. Put your hands together for Ukko. Alright, so looks like we're gonna have ourselves a probe scout. I'm wondering if, with Ukko down 0-1, will he play it safe here? Or will he take a chance for something, really crazy? It looks like he is gonna play it kind of just standard, and I don't blame him because he doesn't have any lives left. I mean, if he loses this game, then he loses this series. So he doesn't want to go ahead and risk it. Interestingly enough, there is 3 drones mining. It looks like that will get fixed right now, as the probe is being annoying. I'm really glad that Ukko finally came because, not only was Ukko playing in our first series, but he was actually going to play in the next series, which would have meant that we would have had to go on an extended break, which it's not fun, just a lot of waiting, just doing nothing. So really happy that he finally showed up. So of course in the PvZ meta, we have, really seen a lot of Protosses try to send the probe out early in order to block the hatchery. This time around, not going to be blocking the hatchery. Ukko will be able to take his natural second base, which is always a good thing, a good feeling as a Zerg player, especially nowadays when, it just seems like every game, that probe is sent out so early to block your hatchery. Now, of course, on this map of Data C, we do have like the third base. Well, there's 2 potential third bases, really. Both of them really easy to establish, actually. Quite short rush distances, quite short distances between the bases. So the Zerg can kind of choose which third base you would like, whether it's the kind of the 6 or 7 o'clock base there, or the kind of the third triangular pocket. It seems like Ukko has gone for that bottom one, the 7 o'clock base, which probably means that he doesn't want to play aggressively. I mean, maybe if he wanted to go for like a roach push or maybe a Hydralisk timing, he would have gone for the triangular base because it is closer to creatures, bases. But gonna actually play it safe. That kind of indicates to me that he wants to go for more of a standard macro game here. Now, what is creature going to go for? He did open up with, let's see here. He did open up with a Oracle, a second Oracle on the way. The question is, will he go for a third one, or will he save up the gas to go for a quicker, for quicker tech, basically? We do see the Forge and the Twilight being thrown down, and that's this might actually kind of go towards a kind of a heavy gateway kind of playstyle coming from Creature, which has been quite popular nowadays. So the idea is you go for a lot of gateway units, and of course, since he has the upgrade, or he has the Forge building, he's able to get the upgrade early. And you basically stick with like a lot of Stalkers and Charge Lot for, a good chunk of time until you get your 4th or your 5th base. And then once you're mining gas off of those 4th and 5th bases, you can get a lot of gases for those upgrades. Maybe you can even throw down the 2nd forge, get double upgrades running, and you can throw down the Templar Archive. Or maybe if you want to go air tech, you can go for carriers, a fleet beacon, a 2nd, 3rd Stargate. Looks like a Templar Archive will be thrown down, so it looks like Archons will be the choice of tech. Might also be just Storm tech. I think Creature will want to go ahead and just scout what Ukko's army composition is going to be before he decides on whether he wants Archon or Storm. Next, you SC asking in the live chat, is this map 1 or 2? This is map 2. So Ukko was late, so Creature got 1 game walkover win. So now we're in game number 2, and here we go. Looks like Ukko getting a really great surround here. A lot of surface area, but we'll have to back out because of these pulsar beams. Unfortunately, his Zerglings doesn't shoot up in the air, so that's one of the great things why Protosses like to start off and open up with a Stargate tech with Oracles, because really not a lot that the Zerg can do besides maybe a clean walk or maybe some Nidus play. But yeah, Oracle pulsar beams really great against Zerglings, or against Speedlings in this case. And as predicted, Creature going for that mass gateway styles, as he's throwing down a huge chunk of gateways on the production tab. War Prism does get found out, unfortunately for Creature. We'll be able to keep tabs on it. Oh, actually gonna go ahead and just let it go. But yeah, recognizing the fact that he is facing up against Archons, a lot of roaches on the production tab, and that is going to help really well against the composition of Creature. Roaches can kite away from those charge lots as well as the Archons, because even though Archons is technically range attack, it is a really short range attack that's almost like a melee attack. It's kind of like a T-Rex with short arms, and the T-Rex trying to reach their opponent, but I guess that's a bad analogy. But anyhow, here we go. Ukko gonna get his entire roach army on top of Creature's army, and gonna go ahead and just shut this down really easily without much sweat here. And now we have Ukko with an enormous 80 overall supply lead. I mean, these roaches, they really do inflate supply, but even with the inflation, that's still a significant supply lead. Now, it's important to note that Ukko did sacrifice roach speed in favor of more roaches, but the roach speed is about to finish. But I don't think it even matters here, as Ukko is going to go ahead and charge on forward. There's not a lot of Archons left. The last Archon does get sniped out. There's one Immortal here doing some nice damage, but one Immortal against that many roaches is not gonna cut it. Creature desperately trying to throw up some shield batteries, but no army to defend here, and this base is gonna get shut down 100%. And now the question is, can he Creature hold on to his other bases? I mean, Banelings being mixed into the Zerg force as well. Those Banelings are gonna trying to roll right into the mineral line. Doesn't quite do so, but it doesn't matter. The rest of Creature's army is gonna get completely wiped out. And ladies and gentlemen, we are headed into a game number 3. Ukko is gonna go ahead and make up for that 1 game walkover loss that he gave to Creature. It's just a matter of time before Creature taps on out. He's just going to make one last stand, but he knows it's the end as he GG's out and taps on out. Ukko will type the series, and we're headed to game number 3. So well done there by our Zerg player. It's a little bit impressive considering, Ukko had to come in last minute I mean, like, you know, for example, like, if you're an actor and you're late for an audition, right? And you come in like in the last second, usually the actor is like flustered and doesn't really put on, you know, his or her greatest performance, and you know, can screw up the casting, you know, the test casting. And Ukko was like, know what? No sweat. Gonna keep calm. Gonna go ahead and play my game. And it worked out. He was able to win the game. And now we're heading into game of 3. Gonna take place on Cosmic Sapphire. And we'll see if Ukko can finish the deal and pick up the 2-1 lead, or if Creature is gonna make Ukko pay and take the series 2-1. Alright, looks like we are in the game. So let's go ahead and start it off with this guy here. This guy here at the top left. He is the blue Zerg. He won last game. Can he win another one? It is Ukko. And spawning here at the bottom, no, bottom right, it is the player from Root Gaming. Give it up for Creature. Okay, immediately a deviation from the last game. This time around, Creature will be able to get that early probe block. Gonna force Ukko to take his second base at the kind of the regular third base area. So this game already starting off well for our Protoss. And it's a little bit more hurtful or painful on this map to get your natural block, because there is like kind of curvy, you know, kind of a situation here where the drones will come through here, but it's gonna have to go further around here, this little kind of angle here, this corner. And so it's gonna take a little bit extra time for those drones to reach to the, you know, to the mineral patches. So this is a great map to block your Zerg's hatchery at the natural. Alright, so we're gonna have to wait for the next couple of seconds. Oh, looks like he so if you guys didn't catch that, Creature did research warp gate research as a kind of a fake out, but then he canceled it because he needed to throw down his Stargate. So it was a little bit of a fake out, but Ukko, he had his Overlord there parked, was able to see it. And I think right now he should be able to anticipate that that was a Stargate opening, because it did, you know, stop researching for a second there, and also because of the depth opening. So, you know, when the Protoss player goes for Stargate, usually he would start off with the depths because, you know, it takes less gas compared to, let's say, a Stalker or a Sentry. And so you can get that Stargate, you know, a bit quicker because you have the extra amount of gas, which, yeah, Zergs can kind of pick up on as a telltale sign. Pretty important for Creature to get the scout on that second hatchery base. Just to keep an eye out on how many drones the Zerg has. That's a good indicator as to whether the Zerg is going to go for some aggression, some pressure, or will he go, you know, more, you know, economic heavy, play it more macro. And Looks like the first Oracle will make its way in, but there's going to be 2 queens to greet him. So doesn't get any damage done. Well done by Ukko to get those queens up. And look at what we have here, guys. We got a fleet beacon and a second Stargate. Now the question is, will he go for 2 Stargate Tempests or will he go for 2 Stargate Carriers to open up this game? I have seen, Protosses go for either of these openings. Some goes for Tempest, some goes for Carriers. There are, rare occasions where it's like double Void Rays. But I feel like those double Void Rays builds are kind of out of the meta these days because of the, because Zergs kind of have experience dealing with them, because that that Void Ray, the mass Void Ray, kind of army composition, openings and builds was actually popular for a period of time, but after a while, Zerg was able to deal with them, mainly with Queen Walks. But yeah, looks like we're gonna have Carriers this time around. Now Ukko does not see this at all. He has no vision of this. His only Overlord is on the left side, which is going to be blocked by a Stalker. So that Overlord is never going to be able to get a scout in unless it turns into an Overseer. But Ukko, he has a feeling that this is going to be air tech from Creature, because look at here, not a lot of army. And the carrier tech has been revealed officially. That is confirmation for Ukko. Now Ukko just lost that Overlord, which will supply him a little bit, so that is annoying to deal with. But at the very least, he knows what's up. He knows what's coming. Now, can he buy enough time with these queens here? Let's see, how many queens is that? 9 queens out on the field. That should be enough to buy him some time for that Spire to go up and then start making Corruptors, I would imagine. Again, these Oracles, the Oracle that was initially made did not get any damage done in the mineral line, so Ukko's economy has been solid throughout this whole game. In fact, no drones lost thus far in this game. That changes, of course, with the carrier harassment, but the Corruptors are in the production. These queens are here to defend, as well as some Spore Crawlers. It's going to be really important for Creature to not lose these carriers. If he loses these carriers here to these initial Corruptors, then it gets extremely difficult for Creature to make this air fleet kind of playstyle, work. Carriers are not greatest in small numbers. You really got to build them up. But if your carrier numbers just stay stagnant at the lower end of the carrier count, then those Corruptors, those Corruptor counts are that Corruptor count is gonna be increased, over time, and it'll be so easy for Ukko to just snipe them down. By the way, it's important to note that the carriers do have +1 air weapons, which the +1 does apply to each one of those interceptors. So it really makes those carriers a lot more stronger. Alright, let's see here. How many Corruptors we have? 7 Corruptors. Interestingly enough, Ukko has decided not to continue making Corruptors. In fact, he's making a lot of Roaches. It looks like he's going to count on going for a Roach push of some sort. Am I missing something? Because there's no Nidus or anything. These queens are not going to be able to help defend or help facilitate these Corruptors during the fight. Okay, so it looks like he's just preparing for the ground transition from Creature here, but these Corruptors really need to focus fire on these carriers A little bit of a missed micro there by Ukko. Meanwhile, creature sending a couple of charge lot over to the other base there. A great double prong attack. Oh my goodness, so much drones going down to these charge lot. And oh my goodness, is he gonna... Oh my god, focus fire on the hatchery. Oh, he does not focus fire on the hatchery. I think if he focus fired on the hatchery, he definitely would have been able to take it out. The queens were not there to transfuse. And of course, you know, those charge lot would have been on +1, so more hits on the hatchery. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, but I mean, he did get a lot of drone kills, so overall, I think that went okay. Just needs to defend here with the shield battery here, as well as the defender's advantage with the additional warpins. Looks like creature will survive. More importantly, he does save the carriers. Now, creature actually not electing to go for more carriers. And as I say that, he does start up the carrier count. I think he recognizes the fact that, you know, there's not a lot of corruptors on the field. So it looks like he will continue the carrier production, which is pretty smart. If he can get, you know, to an optimal or critical amount of carriers, and you combine that with the Archons to help protect the corruptors, maybe add in some storm tech, boy, that is going to be a really difficult army to face up against. I mean, creature, you know, if he wanted to, he can even skip the storm tech and go for maybe disruptors. That could also work as well. But I think, you know, with the storm, that really helps, you know, with the corruptors, along with the, of course, the Archons. Alright, gonna fight here on the kind of the edge of creep. Baneling's gonna walk off of creep, which is dangerous. Central Fuga Hook's not quite done yet. Looks like Ukko is getting impatient. He wants to end this right now before the carrier count gets too crazy, before, you know, more Archons or potentially a storm tech with High Templars are out in the field. So I'm gonna go ahead and commit to it, but unfortunately for him, doesn't get quite the connection that he wanted to with those Banelings, and not enough here to clean up creature's army. And now, you know, as creature just expands more and more, like his side of the base is pretty much almost taken. You know, there's one more base at the kind of the 6 o'clock area, and then potentially the gold. And, you know, creature, he's gonna be pretty much mining half of the bases out on the map. And here we go. Oh, pulling back the charge lot, which is pretty smart, but looks like he doesn't quite have enough here on the ground, especially on the air. He stopped, you know, making those carriers, and all of a sudden, Ukko taking a huge, decisive fight here, and our Protoss looking to be in a bit of trouble. He really needed to add in additional splash damage. You know, Archons is great and all, but you really need that, you know, secondary splash damage to deal with those roaches, especially. And now, creature will lose the base for it, which is, it really hurts, especially when you go for this kind of very gas-intensive army composition. You really need those extra gases. And I think despite creature, despite Ukko being down 0-1 to start off this series, you know, because of the walkover loss, looks like Ukko will actually pull this off. And there we have it. Creature taps on out, and Ukko, our Zerg, will go ahead and take the series 2-1.